Hello, everybody. My name is Lynn Plourde. I'm hiding behind my sign that says Fun Facts. Today, I want to teach you an easy writing research lesson. And fun facts, I will show you what you can do to try to create some fun facts. First of all, I suggest that you get some picture books that you enjoy. I have a few of my picture books here. And in this one, Baby Bear's Not Hibernating. It's a story about a black bear that doesn't want to go to bed. So it is a fiction story. So look for picture books that are fiction, that aren't true. Nonfiction picture books are great, but not for this activity. Then in the back of this book, I not only had the fun fiction story, I added some black bear facts. And I look for black bear facts that are fun and interesting. So let me share one with you to get an idea. I researched black bears, and I'll see if you can have a good guess on this. I want you to pretend for a minute that you're holding a human baby. Good job. Now pretend you're holding a black bear baby. How would your arms move? Bigger? Would they get smaller? Which way would you go with your arms to hold a baby black bear? It might surprise you. They have to get really small because a black bear, when it's born, is the size of a can of soup. A black bear, when it's born, only weighs 12 ounces. As humans, when we're born, we weigh 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 9, some even 10-pound babies. But a black bear, when it's born, weighs less than a pound, which is amazing because they grow and grow. They stay in the den, black bears do. They're born in January and they come out of the den in March or April, depending upon how spring is going in the how fast spring is arriving and winter is leaving. And when they leave the den, they still only weigh 5 pounds. So they still weigh less than a lot of human babies. I find that fascinating. So I had a fact in the back about the weight of black bears, that they're so small, 12 ounces when they're born, but then they can grow and grow to be 90 to 600 pounds. And the biggest black bear they ever weighed 880 pounds. Now, that is definitely a fun, interesting fact. Let me give you another example. In my book, Happy Birthday, Maine, it's about Paul Bunyan and a Maine moose throwing a birthday party for the state of Maine. And so it is a fictional story, but in the back, I included facts about the state of Maine. So in the back, you can find all kinds of things about it. Like Maine was the 23rd state to join our country. And the only way it could join, because it was joining as a free state. And so Missouri joined as a slave state. So that's an interesting fact that Maine would not have become a state if Missouri didn't become a state at the same time. Because a long time ago in our country, we had states that believed in freedom, no slavery, and some states that believed in slavery. So Maine became a state during something called the Missouri Compromise. Another, it seems like I do a lot of books with facts in the back. Dino Pets Go to School. So that is a story, a fiction story about dinosaurs going to school on pet day, and they kind of can cause some problems. Guess what? In the back, I put some facts. And so I researched and I found out the tallest, the loudest, the spikiest, the widest, the smartest, and the youngest dinosaurs. And the loudest dinosaur, it's called a Parasaurolophus, and it had a 6-foot long hollow bone on its head. So the bone on its head was as tall as a grown man and would take air in through its nostrils and then make a blasting sound with that hollow bone. And the researchers, the paleontologists, found that when they found the bones of the Parasaurolophuses, that they were all together. So they traveled together in herds or groups, and they thought they did that because they were able to communicate with each other in their basic dinosaur language. And so that's why they hung together in groups or herds. My last example before I give you the challenge is my book, The Blizzard Wizard. And that one is a silly story about a wizard. He's called the Blizzard Wizard, but he can't find his snow spell. So he does silly things to like white and fluffy, fluffy and white, and sheep fall from the sky. So he does other silly spells. In the back of the book, I put some nonfiction. I put some facts, a blizzard of facts. And one of the ones that I had fun putting in here, it says, in my home state of Maine, where I live, and some of you live, in 1963 or 64, and I'm old enough, I was alive back then, the Blizzard Wizard worked overtime in author Lynn Ploure's home state of Maine. The first snowfall was on September 13th in 1963. So in the fall on September, the middle of September, September 13th was the first snowfall. And the last snowfall was on June 17th. Last fall, snowfall on June 17th, that's when summer is starting. So that winter lasted 9 months. There's other blizzard facts there. I'm sure you can find other books besides my examples I gave you where it's a fiction story and it has nonfiction in the back. But my challenge to you is to look for fascinating facts, for fun facts, and what you can do is find a picture book that does not have facts in the back and you can add them. So in my book, Moose, of course, it's a silly story about a boy looking for a moose, but the back of the book, the story just ends. It does not have any facts. So what I challenge you to do is, on a paper in the back, you can write a list of moose facts that you research and add to the back of the book. I would suggest that you don't tape it or glue it in. You could just tuck it into the back. And so then when somebody's going to read that story in your family or in your classroom, when they open it, and you can cut the paper to be the right size, they will learn facts about a moose. And some facts about a moose that are interesting that I've researched a little is that their ears can move separately, not together. Their eyes can move separately. So those are just a few fun facts, but you could research and try to learn some. Another example is the Eric Carle book, The Very Busy Spider. And it's about a spider that ignores all the other animals and it creates its web. So it's a fun fictional story. In the back, there are not facts. So what you could do, instead of maybe just a paper in the back, or you could put a paper in the back, fascinating spider facts. But another thing that you could do is you could use Post-it notes, and you could put Post-it notes throughout the book on places where you're telling spider facts. So I looked to find a few spider facts that I thought were interesting. Like, do you know what spider webs are made out of? They're made out of silk. That's interesting. And we look at the spider making its web. It keeps getting bigger and bigger in this book. How long does it take a spider to make its web? I researched that. And spiders can spin a web on average in 30 to 60 minutes. So it takes them a half hour to 1 hour to spin a whole web. I think they're very speedy. So I love those interesting facts. So look for some interesting facts. Maybe you can tuck in the book where they would go with Post-it notes. Another example of fascinating facts are Miss Run Theist by Barbara Cooney. And what she does is she plants lupin seeds, and lupin are a kind of flower that are beautiful. And she plants the seeds because she wants to make the world more beautiful. And she plants them and then they grow, and there's lupins that grow up and they're beautiful. So I researched quickly to see what I could find about lupins. And again, you could do it with a Post-it, or you could have the fascinating facts in the back and write them on a list. There's over 200 different kinds of lupins. That's amazing. 200 different ones? I've only seen probably 3 or 4 in my life. And they can grow everywhere in the world except on the polar regions. So the North Pole and the South Pole, lupins wouldn't grow there, but they grow in every other part of the world. So that's fascinating too, because some plants only grow in certain parts of the world. And my last example for you to add fun facts would be for pigs in the mud in the middle of the rut. My story, Pigs in the Mud in the Middle of the Rut. There are pigs in the road, and then there's hens in the road, and they won't leave. And then sheep and bulls. So what you could do is research the kinds of animals in this book. It's a fiction story, but you could add the facts to the back and tuck in the page. So one I looked for quickly, like John Schoenherr, the illustrator, he drew a different kind of bull. What kind was it? And I looked online, I found they're called Highland bulls. That's the kind that they have the big shaggy hair, and they're called Highland bulls. So not all kinds of bulls are the same as Highland bulls, but that's the kind he put in there. You could research pigs. Like, I wonder how much a pig weighs on average when they're born. I wonder what they would weigh as they grow up. I wonder how much a bull would weigh. Hens are in the story. I wonder how many eggs hens lay on average. Maybe it depends upon the breed or the kind of hen. I don't know. That's where you get the job. Research some fun, fascinating facts to fiction stories and add them. And it would be cool if you did it in your classroom, shared some of the facts you learned with each other, or you did it in your family and some of you shared facts you learned with each other. That would be fascinating. Have fun making fascinating facts, everyone.